Hello there and welcome to a brand new video. Now in this lesson, we are still on long division. This is actually the second video on long division. In the previous one, we actually did long division where we divide and then we make sure there is a remainder. This time around, we want to divide and then even convert it to a decimal. You see, we want to keep dividing even when there is a decimal. In the previous lesson, we looked at what the quotient is, what the divisor, and then what the dividend is, and as well as the remainder. So without much I say or do, let's quickly look into it. So looking at this first question here, we'll be using, for example, it says we have to divide 7 by 3. You have to divide 7 by 3. So let's quickly go into it. So we write our solution and then we do our long division sign very nicely over here. So with this done, we are going to put our divisor, right? So the divisor comes out, which is the 3, and then the dividend comes inside. This time around, there's just one digit. So we ask ourselves, 3 divides 7 how many times? In other words, 7 divided by 3. That is 2 times. You see, so you write our 2 right on top of this, and we said we then multiply this quotient we have gotten by the divisor. That is 2 times 3, which gives us a 6, after which we subtract. If we subtract, what do we have? We have a remainder of 1. You see, now with a remainder of 1, there is no other digit for us to bring down. You see, so if there's no other digit, what we do is we write, and the normal sequence we to write remainder 1. But we want to even go into the decimal aspect. That allows us to bring a decimal point here. See, and with this decimal point here, we are allowed to add 0 to this 1 over here. So that it now becomes what? A 10. Then we now start our division again. So 3 divides the whole of this 10 how many times? 3 times. 3 times 3 gives us a 9. And then we subtract. You see, so if we subtract 9 from 10, we get a 1. For this 1 here too, we could have written a remainder, but because we have already introduced this decimal point, we are then allowed to put a 0 here. You see, then we now continue with our division. 3 divides 10 how many times? 3 times again. And then if we are to multiply, so we can subtract, we have our 9 here. And if we subtract, we have what? A 1. Now for this particular question, you realize that the 3 over here would continue over and over again. So there's no need even doing it. You can try on your own as you have watched, and you realize that you're going to get 2.33333. It goes on and on. But the main point we want to stress here is the fact that we have a decimal. You see, so after doing the normal division, anytime you have a remainder and you want to proceed into the decimals but not write the remainder, then you are allowed to introduce a decimal point, and then you just add a 0 to the digit. You see, then keep doing that again. So this simply implies that 7 divided by 3 is giving us a 2.33. Then it goes on and on and on. So we just put a point over here to show that it goes on and on, right? Let's pick some other examples to try and see. Now this example here says we should divide 25 by 8. Okay, so our solution, and then we do our long division sign. So all I'm coming to do is to get this here and then just bring it here as well. Okay, so with our long division sign done, what do? We put our dividend and the divisor where they are supposed to be. So our dividend, which is 25, then 8, which is our divisor. You see, Then we now start our division process. So what do? We ask ourselves, 8 divides to how many times? 8 is going to divide to just 0. You see, I explained in the previous video that it is important you put the 0 there, especially when it is a trapped 0. That helps you to actually get the answer. So 8 divides to 0. And then we write our 0 up here. And then we do our multiplication. So 8 times 0 gives us what? A 0. And if you have to subtract, you have a remainder of 2. It is at this stage that you can now bring your 5 down. You see? So our 5 comes down here. And then we start our division process again. 8 divides 25. How many times? How many times? And we know that is a 3. So 8 times 3 now is then giving us what? A 24. So you put our 24 here. And we can do our subtraction. So that is 24 minus, that is 25, then minus 24. That definitely gives us a 1. Now, we could have written our answer as 3, remainder 1. But as I said earlier on, we want to enter into the decimal domain. So we are then allowed to introduce a decimal point here. And this decimal point allows us to add a 0 to our 10. Then we now start our division. So 10 divided by 8 gives us a 1. 8 times 1 will then give us what? An 8. And if you have to subtract, we have a remainder, right? A remainder of 2. And we go again. Because there is this decimal point, we are allowed to introduce a 0 here. You see? Then now, this 20 here divided by your 8 would give you what we call a 2. So I'll put my 2 here. Then 8 times 2 gives me 16. So I'll write my 16 here. And when I subtract, I now have a 4. I do hope you are taking note of what is happening as we solve. So with this 4 we have here, we now do the same process again. There's no number here for us to say we're bringing down to come and attach it to this one. But because of the presence of this decimal point, we are always at liberty to introduce a 0. 80 divided by 80 divides 40. How many times? A 5. You see? So 8 times your 5 gives you what? A 40. And if you have to subtract, what we have? We have nothing. So in doing all this, we have been able to establish the fact that 25 divided by 8 is a 3.125. This 0 here is insignificant. We don't even write it. You see? So we have 3.125. So basically, this is the whole idea on trying to work out division when you want to enter into the decimal domain, and then meaning there is a remainder. Okay. So I'll leave some exercises just for you to try on your own to test your understanding. So these are the questions you can try your hands on. They are just 4 questions. And we have some few word problems attached to them. This is how Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. If this video was helpful, you can always choose to subscribe so that anytime I release the next video, you'll be notified as well. If there's any issue of concern, you can let me know in the comment section and I'll address that for you. See you in our next lesson. Then bye for now.